Media.
These addictions really are a conversation around purposeless information. And again, it goes hand in hand with the fact that we have access to so much of it. Hi, my name is Ronnie Cruz. After almost 2 decades as a career network marketer, I realized that despite continual work on my personal and professional development, that I had hit a massive brick wall. So I took a deep and honest look at myself, top to bottom, hoping to find answers. And my search led me to one conclusion. The definitions I held of my business, of my world, of my life were the very things holding me back. If I wanted to change, if I wanted to grow beyond my current circumstances, I had to wipe the slate clean and redefine. This show is dedicated to helping you identify the belief systems, the mindsets, the very definitions that have held you back, and then help you break through those limitations to finally create the life you've been working so hard to achieve. Welcome to the ReDEFINE Podcast. All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. Today, we're going to talk about information addiction. That's right. Specifically, 3 types of information addiction that I've identified. I wanted to discuss this today because I think, obviously we live in a world of limitless access to information, and there's, I believe, a real danger that we can lose the ability to prioritize and focus on the specific information that we need for our own unique journeys in the things that we're trying to achieve. Whatever your goal is, especially if you're a business owner, if you're an entrepreneur, you got to be hyper-focused on what kind of information you're consuming, because you want to get to your goal, and you want to get to your target as quickly and as efficiently as possible. And that can become difficult if we're not able to filter out all the excess noise that's out there. And so that's why I wanted to discuss these types of addictions, because these patterns, I want you to be aware of these patterns in case you are actually experiencing them without knowing them, right? Raising your level of awareness will allow you then to make adjustments moving forward and then become more efficient and get to your goals faster. So the first type of information addiction that I wanted to talk about is the addiction to learning. This might be the biggest one, because I've seen this a lot over the years as I've coached and mentored people. I get it. I love to learn. Like, I'm a lifelong learner. I'm going to always be a learner, until the day I die. Learning is an important part of the equation of growth and progress, especially if you're, specific to the goals that you're trying to achieve. However, it can be a crutch. It really can become a crutch. If it's not purposeful and it's not intentional, right? If you don't know directly what the specific thing that you're learning, what outcome it's going to create, and what results it's going to create towards your goal, then you really got to question why you're learning it in the first place, right? What can happen is, the first thing that can happen is that you get really, really excited, and it gets fun, and you get addicted to the novelty of it, right? Because obviously learning is discovering and exposing yourself to new things, and novelty is fun, especially, in a world where a lot of people live lives that are very repetitive, that are very Groundhog's Day, right? So having a new thing that you're learning is exciting, and it's fun, and it's novel, and we can get addicted to that novelty. What then ends up happening is, especially if you're working towards a new goal, you start to tell yourself, because you love the novelty of it, that unconscious part of your brain starts to tell you, well, you need to learn this now. Now you need to learn this. Well, if you want to achieve this and this, you need to learn this. Oh yeah, by the way, you need to learn this. So you get stuck in this pattern of, learning a bunch of things and telling yourself, oh wait, I can't do that yet until I learn this, right? And it becomes completely an avoidance pattern, right? And I get it, right? That like part of the growth process is learning as well as doing, and doing can be very, very scary. It can be very uncomfortable to stretch yourself and to grow. And so we can naturally revert and retreat back to that addiction to novelty, because novelty is fun. And our brains tell us, hey, you need to learn this. You can't do that yet until you learn this, until you learn this, until you learn this. It's a funny pattern. It's a funny pattern that again I see a lot. And what I encourage you to do is before you sign up for whatever next course you're signing up for, or diving into teaching yourself whatever this new thing, ask yourself, what direct purpose do I have for learning that thing? And is it going to create immediate results, or is it going to help me create is it going to directly help me create the results that I want to get, or moving closer to my ultimate goal and vision of my life, right? So be aware of that. Be aware of that. And again, I love learning, but make sure that the learning has intention and the learning has purpose. Now, the second type of information addiction is being the first to know, right? Being the first to know. It's this one kind of drives me crazy for this specific example. Movies. I'm a big movie fan. I love Star Wars especially, and there's this tendency now in the general population to talk about something as soon as it's released. Even not even the movie, like trailers. Immediately people start talking about the details and examining this and like, oh, they're the first to know. And I get it, right? I get that. However, it just drives me crazy because like, let me experience this bit of information, or let me consume that information on my own time, right? We all have that one friend that's going to, oh, this is not going to spoil it for you, but this, and this happened. I'm like, why would you tell me that? And now I can't experience it for myself. I have to experience it through your lens. And especially okay. So that's one kind of first to know. The other example obviously is technology in entrepreneurism and in the world of business owners. People are very 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 fast to jump on a new thing because they want that leg up, right? They want to be ahead. They want to be in front of the curve. There's that I always forget the name of this app that came out during pandemic where you talk. You just it's a talking app where you talk. Community. It's not Community. Anyways, I'm having a brain fart on that app. But there was an app that everybody jumped onto, and they were in a rush to do it, and now it's like barely anybody uses it, right? Right? It's just this just want to be first, want to be early adopter, but again, what purpose, right? For what purpose? The psychology I think behind this is that yes, there is a realization that we all have access to limitless information, and so the one thing that can stand out is if you're first to access this information, or if you're first to do this thing. Again, everybody generally speaking has access to this information, so to be the first, then yeah, you have advantage, and you stand out. The danger, though, is that when you're first to know this, oh yeah, I knew that already. Oh yeah, I'm the first to know that. Oh yeah, I knew that already. You kind of unconsciously program yourself into looking at information that you already know, because you're always seeking information. The stuff you already know, when you see it out there in the world, you start to tell yourself unconsciously is like, oh yeah, I knew that already, right? Like, oh, that's nothing new to me. Now, the danger of that mindset unconsciously is that you gradually close yourself off from growth, all right? You gradually close yourself off from learning, which is the first addiction. And that's equally as dangerous because there's no growth without learning, right? If you're unconsciously telling yourself, "Oh yeah, I knew that already. That's old news. That's nothing new to me," then you're less open to actually seeing something in a new way. And that's a pattern of that's a formula for being stuck where you are. It really is. It really is. So be careful of that pattern. Be careful of the need to be the first on anything, especially with information, because again, what's the point? This conversation really is all about what is the purpose and intention of accessing the information that you're accessing right now. All right. Number three, the third and last type of information addiction that I want to talk about today is insider info. Dun dun dun. Insider info. To know things that nobody else knows. Like you again. There's a certain level of exclusivity there. That is very, I don't know, it feels rewarding because you set yourself apart, and you kind of feel special, because nobody, other people don't know what you know. However, what's the purpose? I know I'm going to continue to ask that question. What's the purpose, and what's the intention of knowing that thing that you know and nobody else knows? And then it becomes, the next step is when you share that information, it really, like, why are you the only one that knows it, first of all? And then when you share it, number two, then it's really just gossip, right? It's really just gossip. And gossip has no place in growth. Gossip has no place in business, in leadership especially. So yeah, there's really no need to have insider information on anything, unless you're like a counselor, or you're mentoring somebody, and that, in that case, that insider information isn't insider information, it's confidential information. Right. So yeah, don't be the purveyor of knowing all this inside scoop about anything, because it's really, really pointless. And yeah, it just gets in the way and clouds the focus, right? And that's this entire episode. It's all about making sure that you're able to prioritize and focus on the information, on really a narrow amount of information that you need, in order to achieve the things that you want to achieve, right? It's really, these addictions really are a conversation around purposeless information. And again, it goes hand in hand with the fact that we have access to so much of it. We have to be discerning with the information that we allow. I mean, this is a conversation beyond, negativity and positivity, and filling your headspace with encouragement and motivation and good things. It's also, yeah, just filtering out the noise, and filtering out and trimming out the fat. And I see that it's not so much that, like, everybody's like throws ADD in there as if everybody has ADD. It's not so much ADD. It's your lack of focus, right? And it's the general population losing the ability to kind of bring their attention to specific things, because we've become so scatterbrained, right? It's not that we have ADHD, which I know some people have, so I'm not speaking to that. If you're clinically diagnosed with ADHD, yes, there's things that are legitimate like that, but I'm talking about being at the whim of these addictive patterns, and not taking initiative and control, so that we're to be purposeful and intentional with the information that we let into our headspace, right? Because there's a lot of noise, really. It's a lot of noise, and we have to filter this out. And so being aware of these patterns, hopefully you can catch yourself when you're allowing information, when you're focusing on information, or no, let me backtrack. Bringing these patterns of information addiction to light, hopefully you can really kind of retrain your focus and raise the awareness when you are not, when you are scatterbrained with the information that you're giving your attention to. Because I'm telling you that one of the quickest ways to slow down, which is a funny phrase, one of the quickest ways to slow down your progress is to scatter your attention, right? Scatter your attention. So when you're looking at a specific piece of information, ask yourself, is this going to help me? And what will knowing this thing result in my daily life, so that I can move closer towards my goal, right? So that's it. That's the message I wanted to talk about today. That's the message I wanted to land on. Information addiction, the addiction to learning, the addiction to being first to know, and the addiction to insider information. Really do some digging and raise the level of awareness around whether or not you have these patterns, and then adjust and be really specific, be really purposeful with the attention and with your focus, so that you can get to your goal that much faster. So that's going to do it for today and this week. We'll catch you next Tuesday for the next episode. So until then, be well, be safe, and go towards goodness.